I'm gonna set it out. You living born, I'm gonna...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another banger episode of RaceChip Insights. In this episode, we're gonna check out the brand new BMW M2, which is the show car from HGS. So it got their downpipes already installed and a Miltech OPF back exhaust system. We're going to compare the car with our M3, which got also the HGS downpipes, and it is basically the same engine with a different power spec. So I think it's going to be really interesting to compare those cars on the dyno and 100 to 200. Have fun with this episode. First drive in the brand new BMW M2. In terms of the interior, it's a little bit different compared to our M3 because the M2 is newer and got the new design, but you get used to it pretty quickly as it's typical BMW interior. And quite nice if you ask me. From what I've seen online, the car is quite heavy and it feels quite heavy as well. So we're going to put the car on a scale later and compare it to the M3 and put the M3 obviously on a scale as well. So I think it's really interesting to compare the cars, not just in terms of power, but also in terms of the weight. We're gonna start the data logs now. And then we move over to the dyno, measure the stock performance and do data logs as well. So I would say we're gonna see us again on the dyno in a few minutes. So we are done with the weigh-in of both cars, M2 and M3. Of course, we have to mention that our M3 competition is the xDrive version, so around 50 kgs heavier. That is at least what BMW claims for the xDrive system. So BMW M2 1675 kgs, BMW M3 xDrive 1785 kg. So there's a difference of 110 kilograms. If we reduce it by the 50 kgs from the four-wheel drive, we're looking at a 60 kg difference between both cars. M2 is kind of heavy, especially if you keep in mind that the M3 is bigger than the M2, a lot bigger in my opinion. So yeah, M2 is kind of heavy. I think that's done from the rain. We're gonna see us now in a couple of minutes on the dyno. See you there. Quick walk around the car to check out the exterior and interior design. Front, obviously a different front than its bigger brothers, the M3 and M4. However, I definitely like it. It looks really aggressive. And if you have a look at the side profile of the car, the rear looks really aggressive. With the wide stances, it's just awesome. And what is also really important, if you ask me, that you can spot immediately the difference that it's an M2 and not just an M240i. M2 is really special. You can spot it immediately that the car is an M2, an M car, which is important, I think, at least for people who are buying the car. I think that's an important criteria. If we walk over to the back, also really aggressive, really wide, with the Miltech exhaust system OPF back. As we are in Europe and we do have OPFs, looks really aggressive as well with big tips. I think we can check out the interior now. This car is not equipped with the race seats, bucket seats, just the usual M seats, which is not a bad thing if you ask me, especially if you are a little bit taller or want to drive over a longer distance. I think the seats are great anyway. Doesn't matter which one you have. Interior, it's the new interior design by BMW with the new infotainment system. M3 and M4 facelift will get the same or have it already. Typical BMW interior, not a lot to say. And before it gets boring, I think we can show you the dyno charts now.
The world been dying days since number check the climate. I'm sick of it. They have brain scheme to get the riches quick. I played a long game with serene scene and I whip this quick. From the back room to the hearts, I'm in the thick of it. I grind too hard for y'all not to see me starve.
Stock dyno figures: BMW M2 car is rated by BMW with 460 horsepower and 550 Newton meters of torque. If you have a look at the chart, we measured the car now with 506 horsepower, corrected 478 uncorrected, and 607 Newton meters of torque. So above the claimed figures by BMW, but nothing unusual, especially if we keep in mind that there are downpipes already installed. About the chart itself, torque and engine power. Torque in orange, engine power in red, and wheel horsepower in blue. A typical S58 behavior. Basically, you have like 600 Newton meters all over the RPM range until 6,000 RPM, then it drops off a little bit, but just slightly. Chart looks awesome. Yeah, let's have a look at the tune figures now. So with our in-house developed tune, we can have a look directly at the chart. We ended up at 603 horsepower corrected, 470 uncorrected, or 471 uncorrected, 704 or 5 Newton meters of torque. On the chart again, in orange, torque thick line is tuned, thin line is stock. Red is the engine horsepower, again, thick line tuned, thin line stock. Blue is the wheel horsepower. Same thing, thick is tuned and the thin line is stock. Basically, the behavior is same as stock, just with a lot more. Yeah, we are talking basically about 100 Newton meters over stock in combination with the downpipes. And yeah, the chart is just perfect. As I mentioned already several times in the video, S58, just a charm of an engine and really fun to tune. So I'm really looking forward to see how fast the car is, 100 to 200. But before we're going to the Autobahn, we're gonna compare now the dyno charts of the M3 and the M2. I think that is going to be really interesting, so see you in a second. So now we're gonna compare the stock dyno chart M2 versus M3. If we have a look at it, in thick is the M2, thin lines are M3. Once again, orange is torque, red is engine horsepower, blue is wheel horsepower. How the torque behaves and how the chart looks like is basically the same. You can see here it drops a little bit at around 5,000 to 6,000 RPM, but the design is absolutely the same. Yeah, I mean, both are the same engines. However, it's a little bit detuned for the M2, but behavior is basically really the same thing. Yeah, it's just an awesome engine overall, definitely. Yeah, I think we're gonna go to measure 100 to 200 now, stock versus tune. But before that, we're going to do a sound check, as the M2 is equipped with the Miltech OPF back, and our car got the Eisenbahn OPF back. I think that's an interesting comparison as well. So yeah, let's check that out, and after that we're going to head over to the Autobahn. So we are on our way to the Autobahn to measure 100 to 200. Let's see if actually the traffic let us do the 100 to 200 measurements. If not, I'm pretty sure we have the chance to do it in the evening, somewhere in the evening, when there will be less traffic. Yeah, really looking forward to the times in stock and with the tune. I mean, we have seen the delta on the dyno, it is quite huge. So I expect a big delta stock to tune. Yeah, after the measurements, we're gonna do a short review about the times and how it actually improved. And then we're gonna see us again in the car. So 100 200 measurements are done. There is a huge difference compared to stock, but I mean, it was something we expected already, as I mean the difference in terms of power, we saw that on our dyno, are huge. Overall, it is a great car, and I think we have to thank BMW for still building cars like that. S58 is just a great engine, and especially in combination with the HDS downpipes, which are incredible. They add a nice tone to the car and of course some power. Miltech OPF back system sounds really awesome. and especially in combination with our tune, the power difference compared to stock is quite big. So I'm really happy with the car, to be honest, and I think we are going to see us now in the workshop where we finally compare the M2 versus our M3. So see you there. Short review about the video and the car itself. Both got the S58 engine, however downgraded in the M2, but with our tuning and the HGS downpipes. Big thanks to HGS again, who did send us their development car over. Yeah, in combination, power gain is huge, and especially with the Miltech catback exhaust, it sounds really, really lovely. However, one negative aspect about the car, it is kind of heavy if you ask me, especially if you consider that it's still a 2 Series BMW. There is not much weight difference compared to the M3, and we have to mention that our M3 is the xDrive version as well. At the end, the S58 is carrying the car. It's one of the best 6-cylinder engines ever made, if you ask me. So 6 cylinders is really something BMW knows how to build. B58 is an awesome engine as well. So we are coming to the end of the video. If you liked the video, leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video.
I keep God first. I see evil, when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off.